I guess so.
Okay. Okay, we'll call the Redevelopment Commission meeting to order. And first is our roll call. Ann McGinnis.
Here.
Paul Buning.
Here.
Josh Bryan.
Here.
BJ Deppie.
Here.
Deb Gill.
Here.
Richard Wirtz here. We have a quorum. So we'll move on to the approval of the minutes of January 21st.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll move on to the special meeting minutes of January 29th.
Move to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the claims.
We just had one, so I didn't bother sending them out. I'll get them for you next time.
All right.
Sorry, this is being slow. Yay, it worked.
Okay, next old business is the Scott Park property purchase.
Just wanted to give you an update on that, since we do have a signed purchase agreement. And Ellen's been working with Denali Title and Sandor to get the closing. We don't have a closing date set yet, but we're working on that. And just to kind of let you know that we will need a resolution, obviously, to approve the funds to purchase that. So
Did we not do that in our special meeting?
we did, yeah. So I think we're all set as far as that's concerned, right? And then the signatures, and so as soon as I learn of a closing date, I'll let everybody know.
And do you want to be the one to attend the closing, or do you want Steve or Krista to do that?
Doesn't make any difference.
Okay. We'll just see what works with schedules then.
Yeah. March is gonna be busy. I might get to go south. Okay, moving on to new business. Resolution 2025-11, authorizing $35,500 match for the owner occupied rehab program grant.
This is Whitney. If you don't mind going to the podium. She is our grant administrator. She's going to give you a little overview of the program and kind of what we're requesting from you. Do you want me to put the PowerPoint up?
We can do that, yes. Yeah.
Whitney, would you state your name?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Whitney Kelling. I work for Administrative Resources Association. We are writing and administering the owner-occupied rehabilitation grant. I just wanted to kind of give you an overview of the program before approving the resolution. I believe that you've seen all of this in your board pack. So I'll go ahead and get started. Wonderful. So the owner-occupied rehabilitation program is a resident-focused home repair program designed to assist low to moderate income families. The max amount of award for this project is $350,000. With a local match resolution of $35,000, we're looking at approximately a $385,000 project. This Friday is the due date for the application, so we are in a bit of a time crunch. But the main goal of this program is to meet HUD's national objective of benefiting low to moderate income residents or homeowners, I should say, in their housing. So these are the program goals. With this program, we'll be able to help low to moderate income families, enhance their housing conditions, and promote community sustainability. These are the eligible applicants and activities. So there are 5 types of repair that we can do with this program. One is roof repair or replacement, HVAC replacement, water heater replacement, and then ADA accessibility features to the exterior of the home. And then some select lighting and electrical features. What we're trying to do with this program is avoid triggering HUD's lead paint rules. So most of the repairs we do will be to the exterior of the home. Part of this program allows for an application process. So once awarded, we will announce the award and then administer an application process, and we'll use Excel to create a scoring matrix that assigns points based on their self-reported income, how much above or below the area median income the household falls, and those are all following HUD requirements. So that's one part of the application. And then we'll also assess whether or not they belong to some of these protected classes of groups, like individuals with disabilities, aging in place, veterans, and single-parent heads of household. So in that matrix, we'll assign whether they're 80%, 120% above the AMI, and then we'll give additional points for these groups as well, among other factors. Next slide, please. So just to give you an idea of where folks are falling in this area around the area median income. So you'll look at the bottom row here, the low 80% income limits. You can see that a one-person household in fiscal year 2024 is considered low income if they are making below $57,000, 57,650. So Franklin, being so close to Indianapolis, falls into this metro area, so the income limits are a little bit higher than other areas of the state. Next slide, please. The timeline for, just one more back. Yeah, wonderful. The timeline for a February 21st submission, we will find out in March whether or not the city has been awarded, and then that will trigger our application process. We'll work with the city, of course, to make sure that applications can be submitted electronically as well as hard copies in person. We'll just ask that people drop them off at City Hall. Once we have gone through a scoring process and identified eligible applicants, we will ask for additional income verification documents as part of the administration. So we'll ask them for a warranty or deed to their house, proof of employment, verification of assets, verification of mortgage. It's a lot of paperwork, but it's essential for or required for the program. Once we have determined an applicant is project eligible, income eligible, we'll schedule initial home inspections. This we'll do with our licensed home inspector, so that is not on the city to find that person. And then we'll also administer the local procurement process, another item that ARA will cover as part of our administration. We are looking to select about 4 to 5 different local contractors to complete the various types of work. We'll send those homes out to bid individually, and we'll ask for approval from the Board of Works. And then we have, after we've done all of this front-end work, we'll begin the construction probably about 6 months after award in that September, October window, and then we have a year to close out the grant. Something that's very important with this application is the communication plan. So we will receive the grant award announcement in March. We'll have application follow-up, whether or not we need to reach out to residents, and then we'll continue to work with residents to collect income verification documents, schedule inspections, schedule construction, but we have lots of modes of communication because we know that you can get a hold of anybody in a lot of different ways now, but we just want to make sure that we're accessible as possible. Next slide, please. And here is the proposed budget. So as you can see, we have a $35,000 local match in the first column. This will go to grant administration and construction. The second column describes what is coming out of federal funds. The professional services fee includes our home inspection process, having a licensed lead and radon inspector come to your home. The environmental review covers the cost of not only doing a citywide environmental review, identifying floodplains, for example, but it also is a site-specific review as well. So we'll not only look at the city as a whole, but we'll look at the individual home and follow a Section 106 SHPO process. And again, we take care of all of that ourselves, and then you see the total budget in the right-hand column. Key public engagement activities. So we've had lots of success with the survey right now. We have about 41 responses from folks. We've worked with township trustees to collect names and numbers of potential applicants so that they can voice their interest in the program. We have flyers all over Facebook, so thank you to those who have taken that survey already and shared your input. That was very helpful. This Wednesday, tomorrow, we are having a public hearing at the city council meeting at 6 o'clock. Residents are encouraged to attend, as well as anyone who would like to make a statement in support of this program and describing Franklin's need for it and how much it could benefit others. The important thing here with the public hearing is that it doesn't have to only be attended by participants who will benefit this program. If there are other community leaders or people who are closely aligned with this project, they can either submit written statements to me or letters of support, or they can attend the meeting and make a statement. And then finally, the letters of support, we are still collecting those from people around the city. This is hugely beneficial to the project. Whatever you include in your letter of support, I can add as an attachment and also quote in the narrative. But I know that there's a lot of really great programs around Franklin right now that helps and assists this target population. So again, if anyone would like to send a letter of support to me, they can at whitney@aracities.org. And then today we are here to pass a resolution approving the local match amount for the program. So I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Miss? I don't expect you to have the answer to this, but do you know if this is a one-time deal or from time to time whether we may get further grants?
Yes, so right now it is advertised as a quarterly funding opportunity. There is another round in Q2, which is around June, July, that sort of date. So it will come again. However, I think we've seen in the past couple of weeks that some things don't go according to plan, I would say.
The state will find someplace else to spend the money.
Yeah. So these are HUD dollars. They are federal. They are distributed to the state. We met with an Okra liaison last week, and I said, okay, with everything that's going on right now, do you still have money in the bank? And they said, yes, of course. It's been distributed in a year previously.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have a follow-up similar.
Yeah.
So this grant ends in 1 year, has to be completed?
18 months.
Oh, 18 months.
18 months. So it's usually about 6 months of work just preparing everything, and then we are expecting in September, October to put shovels in the ground. And that's something that we communicate with homeowners too. We've prepared FAQ documents alongside with the income verification, so they have kind of an idea of when to expect assistance, but we'll obviously prioritize exterior or outside work like roofs during that time.
Any other questions? Thank you, Whitney.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to pass resolution 2025 authorizing $35,500 for a match for the owner-occupied rehab program.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to amendment number 2 to the interlocal agreement between NDOT and the City of Franklin for the US 31 project. State your name, please.
Yeah, Matt McElroy. I'm the Assistant City Engineer here in Franklin. Basically what this is, the amendment number 2, there was a joint agreement signed by the city with NDOT to pair for funding on this project. As of last week, NDOT has decided to move forward with awarding the project to Milestone, which was an increase of cost to the city and NDOT. So this agreement is basically a cost-sharing agreement where the city will will have to pay $62,000 extra on top of the $1.19 million that they are already a part of. And NDOT is also going to pay $18.4 million on top of what they had already agreed on. So this agreement is just to extend that cost share with the city, between the city and NDOT.
And that cost share is coming from,
Is it coming from the RDC, right? Yeah.
I thought it was, yeah.
Okay.
What was the total for the RDC?
So we had paid some design contract kind of changes and things like that. We had the original design, contract for, but that was through the bond that we
Wasn't that like
paid.
4.5 million?
It was like it was
Yeah, that's right. 4.5 million,
4.5 million.
4.459. Yeah.
And so then these changes would be additional, but we're not requesting the additional funds from the RDC. But because we provided the original engineering funding, we are signers on the amendment. And so that's why you're seeing it today, and I have a copy of that for your signature.
Okay, the next question is, this has to go to the Board of Works and the
Yes.
City Council?
Yeah,
This will,
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow
It will
night.
go to the Board of
We
Works
can
and
go ahead
Council.
approve our part? Okay.
Yep.
Mayor, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I just think we need to be on the mic, I guess, while we're. YouTube, sorry, a little rough talking today. No, we're just looking forward to doing the project and getting it started. It's been anticipated since 2017. I know that all of us are probably going to suffer a little bit, but however, when it's all said and done, it's going to be well worth it for the public safety and not only for the road work, the pedestrian safety is going to be real important, and the drainage. So this is a big project for the city of Franklin. I'm willing to take the heat, and I'm sure it's going to come. So here we are, but the edit funds is going to pick up, like we said here, the 1 point, whatever that is. I apologize. But we had planned on that when we did our budget. The city council already knew. We already put that in our budget to, we already identified that to pay for it, so.
We had talked about that coming from the RDC at one point. It's been on the cash flow, but it's been moved around a couple times, and it's back under edit.
Correct.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, anybody have a question? Okay, we entertain a motion to approve amendment number 2 to the interlocal agreement between NDOT and the City of Franklin for the US 31 project.
Move to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on. Professional service agreement, signature of the intersection of Commerce Drive and Menard entrance.
So this project, a little background on it, is a traffic study was done during, when Meyer was put in for the second entrance, the middle entrance there on Commerce for Meyer. At the time, if the north property was ever developed, there was talks that a signal would be needed at this intersection based on the traffic study. So we now have an agreement that a developer is now going to develop the property to the north. I'm sure you've heard about it. It's the Chick-fil-A property, Dutch Brothers, Valvoline, all that. So at this time, the city has stated that they would move forward with helping install this signal. So this agreement is for the engineering services with Crossroad Engineers for an amount of $78,000. So I'm open for any questions. Any questions
Any
about what the
timeframe?
project, timeframe? Well, we hope to have it designed and installed by the end of this year because that development is currently moving forward as of last month. So at least the infrastructure is for that development.
So this contract will go through the Board of Works, but we are requesting, this is just
Yeah.
an introduction to you today, to request for a resolution for your next meeting.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to old business, our financial reports for January.
It's coming.
Okay,
It's thinking about it. Okay. So a lot of updates on this just from the beginning of the year cash balances. So I do want to kind of give a little bit of a disclaimer that the clerk treasurer's office hasn't completely closed out 24 yet. So hopefully at your next meeting, I will have the very final numbers. But this should be pretty close. especially with the resolutions, we know what's been paid out of those and we know what has been encumbered. So you can see our beginning of the year cash balance, the TIF control fund, which is the amended TIF, $4,021,213. And then we do have a investment of $734,000, which brings our cash balance to $4,755,000. These are the numbers of what our tax disbursements were in '24. So I left those with the actual ones, and I need to update, obviously I need to update the years on that. But I do have a printout for you, a handout that I did ask Jeff Peters, because that second number was so much lower than what we were expecting. It's usually similar to the first half of the year. And you can see there it was the 1.8 million instead of the 2.5. So I did print copies of those because I actually just received that and late on Friday. And so basically what Jeff is saying is that there was 155,000 tax delinquency from 2024 that was carried over to 25. And then it increased to 530,000, with 295,000 of that attributed to the Music Land TIF. And it also appears that the second half of taxes were not paid in 2024 for the Music Land TIF. So that is one of our biggest probably payers, one of the biggest payers. And so I'm not really sure what's going on there, but they are delinquent in their taxes of about 530,000. So that explains a big difference in why our disbursements are down. And so I will be doing some checking into that and see what we can come up with. Unfortunately, they don't have any abatements or anything remaining. We haven't really been in a lot of contact with them the last several years just because we don't have any need to be, but we will see what we can find out. Yes.
3 times in the last 3 years, too.
Yeah,
That could be part of the.
I'm sure that is part of, I'm sure they're arguing over who pays the taxes when they sell 3 times in 2 years. So that is probably what's happening. It would be nice if we get that, hopefully someday soon. And there'll be a penalty, so that's fun. So I just wanted to give you an update on that because I was a little concerned about that. But it doesn't seem like it's anything we can really have control over. So you'll see updated the resolutions that were encumbered. And then the new resolutions that were approved at your January meeting are there as well in those amounts. It was a little confusing because we had some grant funds, like the Ready grants, and then also the money from the county for Graham Road and Paulhan Boulevard. And so I'm just kind of double checking those because those monies were received last year. And so I think they're reflected in the starting cash balance. But I want to make sure how that is reflected with the new appropriations so that I'm not double counting anything. So I just need to verify a couple of those with the clerk's office and we should be all set. One thing that was a surprise, I think a few of you were on the Redevelopment Commission when we did Linville Way back in 2016, but out of the blue, we got a $32,000, $301 check from Indiana American Water for a refund when they put the water lines in, and I honestly have no idea what that's for and wasn't expecting it, but I'll take it. So that is listed as a receipt, and in order to spend those funds, we will need to appropriate those. It's very similar to what we just approved for the owner-occupied rehab grant, so I feel like that's maybe a close wash there. So just wanted to let you know about that. As far as the US 31 TIF, it's a lot less exciting. We just have bond payments coming out of there. We have our revenue. Again, we had one company pay all of their taxes at the beginning of the year. That's why that $242,000 looks like that, and then it's lower for the north allocation area as well. So about $828,000. Our appropriations are $637 for the year. So that leaves us with about $575 at the end of the year. if we don't approve anything else out of the 31 district. Is there any questions on either of those?
Okay, move on to the February cash flow analysis.
So I updated this as well. Let's see. So the resolutions that were approved were moved above, and those can be seen at the top of what's approved for this year. And then if you scroll down, projects under consideration, this is where that US 31 additional items, that 1,196,000, that does show there coming out of edit. Some of the other ones, the Commerce Drive stoplight, so we have 800,000 programmed for that. So the design fees are what you just had the introduction on, and so we'll have a resolution for that, but then that includes also the construction amount as well. And then the Sandor, that should have been moved to approved projects, so I need to get that changed to that. And so all those are just the remaining projects under consideration for this year. Then we have 26 and 27. And then just other future projects that we know are kind of looming out there somewhere. Any questions?
Thank you. Appreciate the update. Public comments and announcement. I will say that Iozo's opened, I think today's their first official day, and they had a soft opening, and I think it proved successful as we start.
Yeah, and just, they wanted me to pass that along. Thank you for your support of that. And they were pouring concrete at 5 o'clock Friday night to try to get everything finished. And they were able to get that fire suppression system, all the work was completed, and it was up and running, and everything was like it needed to be. So it was one thing after another last week, and so I will be glad when that is all taken care of and they're running smoothly, so.
Okay, Mayor, any comments? I have nothing to add. Dana?
Late last week, we found out that we got our first grant for 2025 for the arts. We did receive $10,000 for the public arts alley project, the one that will be going on in the art craft alley. So you're gonna have new art going up in there. There'll be kites, and it'll look pretty cool, and it'll be up this summer.
Okay, thank you. Amanda?
Don't have very exciting nothing as cool as that. It's been a pretty quiet month this year, this week,
Well, hopefully spring comes and we have activities.
hopefully.
Rob? I know you've got some activity.
So, the question that I'm getting asked all the time now is, what the heck was going on Monday night? And it's becoming a trend, and I like it. So last night, we had an author event with 3 different authors from all across the country. So there are about 590 women and 9 guys. And for folks who are unfamiliar with this, Wild Geese Bookstore is the one that, it's an independent bookstore, and they just know what they're doing. And they're a tenant in our office building at 48 East Madison Street. So when they have these events, we have the cottage that is attached to the side of the aircraft that goes right to the stage. That's where these 10,000 some books are signed prior to that author event. And then they go out on stage, they do the Q&A. But in the meantime, you've got a line of people starting at 3 o'clock at 9 degrees. And that line actually wrapped all the way down past Greeks down to the Brick Street boutique. And we didn't open doors till 5:30. So we had some frozen chosen right there because it was kind of chilly. The interesting thing about this is how many businesses this helped. So Main and Madison was open till at least 10 o'clock. And the bookstore was open, so they were selling lots of books. Actually, they had 5 different books. They sold out of 4 different ones with these authors. It is truly amazing when you see all of these people downtown. Now, some of them have been coming enough, they now know where the grill bar is. So, I mean, obviously getting pretty sophisticated. But it's helped the Willard and now Wild Geese is a partnership with Greeks, so they can do personal pizzas. And last night, I would imagine because of the weather, they sold over 200 personal pizzas in the theater, and which is a new track record for them. And again, this is pretty amazing stuff. Monday nights used to be a pretty dark thing for every merchant and the art craft included, but now we're getting these things more and more and more. And part of it is the publicists for these authors. They're seeing that they can get a facility with 600 seats. That means they can get more people in. That means they can sell more books. That means a whole lot more money for them. And so more of these authors on the New York Times bestsellers list are requesting to come to Franklin. And the cities that they typically go to are like Dallas, Chicago, Boston, all of this, and now Franklin. So our little tiny town is making a dent in all of these author events, and it's only going to get bigger. So this is a really great thing. This is not anything that was on my radar 20 years ago when we first started planning our business plan for the art craft, but this is a really good sign because while all of these people keep coming to that, one lady flew in from Canada, and I mean that they're just from all over the place. They're driving for 2.5 hours on the way home. We didn't get out of the theater till 1:45. It's just you have to go to one to understand how this all works. But when these people want to see their favorite authors, they're willing to pay for that experience. And that's a lot of what we're getting is experience and something where they're that close to their favorite authors. Plus, last night was a spicy rom-com kind of night, and so we had that kind of crowd. So, which means the bar was working really well. But anyway, this is a new thing that is going to continue to happen, and we get notices from Tiffany Lauderdale Phillips, and she goes, "I can't tell you, but this one is already sold out." So it takes a ton of volunteers to make all of that kind of stuff work from their side and from our side, but is absolutely worth it. So if you question why is Main Street all lit up, that's why, and it's a good thing. So.
And you had a great movie over the weekend.
That's when a author event is almost as big as an 1,100 weekend for Casablanca, that's saying something. So, yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you. Appreciate what's going on down there. Trent, you have something?
I do. Trent Newport, president of Crossroad Engineers. I haven't been here in quite a while, so my apologies. I have some excuses, but you probably don't want to hear those. But I just wanted to take the opportunity to say that we do continue to be very grateful and of the partnership that we have with the city. It's been a long time, and we're looking forward to continuing that. And then also I wanted to, most of you probably know Brad, that's with me. But if you don't, wanted to introduce Brad Staley to you. He's been involved in projects for a long time with the city. In the beginning of this year, we promoted Brad to a position that has increased project management and some business development roles. So you're going to start seeing him here at your meetings on a more regular basis, as well as city council and board of works meetings. So yeah, just wanted to say thank you very much and make that introduction. Thanks.
Thanks, Trent. Welcome, Brad. Amy, would you like to say anything? I was thinking the FDC, you might want to.
Amy Richardson, Secretary of FDC, but actually here on just to basically reiterate what Rob said, just kudos to Tiffany Lauderdale Phillips, because she not only creates these things, but she knows how to share the wealth, and it's pretty cool to watch because it's an economic driver for our whole town. She asked us to stay open late, and she's done it a couple times now. And the first time I was like, oh, okay, we can afford the labor to do that. I'm sure going to be a few dollars. It's unreal. I mean, what she's doing. And we stayed open until 10 o'clock last night, which is, all of you know, very out of our norm. And it was well worth it. And so I would want it to be publicly said, I encourage all the businesses to kind of buy into this if she's got an event, because it is truly well worth it. So, and thank you guys for all your support of FTC.
Les, any comments to back? Okay. BJ?
None?
Paul? Ann?
I just want to welcome Deb Gill as our school board representative, and this is her first meeting, so welcome.
Thank you.
Josh?
Nope, nothing.
Deb? I also want to welcome you and look forward to working with you in the future. If there's no other comment, Krista?
I just was going to welcome Deb, but I think she's been welcomed.
I feel welcome.
Ellen? Nope. Okay. All right, thank you. Our